So one of the prominent things that comes with ASD level 1, and actually levels 2 and 3 as well, is the need to be highly visually stimulated. That's 3 different things. It has to be fairly intense, it has to be pleasing, it has to be visual, and it has to be stimulating. Have you ever known your autistic husband, for example, to just sit and do nothing? Just sit in the backyard and talk about whatever? If you are on the autism spectrum, how long can you go without visual stimulation before you're bored as hell? And then that boredom is excruciating, and you got to go engage in your special interest, which is what? Is there a huge visual component there? So you don't hear about this in the literature anywhere, but you could, and I'm oversimplifying, I understand, you could think of ASD level 1, 2, and 3 as a condition where intense visual stimulation is sought after, and almost to the point where it has an addictive quality to it. That's why the computer screen and his cell phone is such an important thing to him, because it is pleasing and it's visually stimulating. And if he doesn't have this very visual, stimulating, pleasant experience for very long, it's not long before his boredom sets in, which is excruciating for him, and he will do whatever he needs to do, even if it becomes somewhat socially inappropriate, to get back to his visual stimulation. Now that brings up a whole nother question. Which comes first? The special interest, in other words, hyper-focusing on his special interest for extended periods of time as a child, that then results in the lack of development of social skills? Or is it the lack of social skills, we're talking about childhood now, the lack of ability to fit in and to be a part of the group, that leads to his saying, ah, the heck with this, I'm gonna just go find a special interest because I'm no good in the social department? So which comes first? That would be an interesting debate. So anyway, in summary, and I know it's way more complicated than this, but you could think of ASD as a condition where visual stimulation is sought after and almost becomes addictive. Do you ever get tired of looking at all the negative things associated with your ASD spouse? Here are just a few of the abilities associated with ASD level 1, or Asperger's syndrome. Visual, three-dimensional thinking. Most people on the autism spectrum are very visual in their thought processes, which lends itself to countless useful and creative applications. Logic over emotion. Although people with ASD are very emotional at times, they spend so much time computing in their minds that they get quite good at it, and they can be very logical in their approach to problem solving. Internal motivation. They're motivated internally as opposed to being motivated by praise, money, bills, or acceptance, which ensures a job done with conscience and with personal pride. Independent, unique thinking. People on the autism spectrum tend to spend a lot of time alone and will likely have developed their own unique thoughts as opposed to a herd mentality. High IQ. Many experts say that those with ASD often have a higher than average general IQ. Higher fluid intelligence. Scientists have discovered that people with ASD level 1 have a higher fluid intelligence than neurotypicals, which is the ability to find meaning in confusion and solve new problems and draw inferences and understand the relationships of various concepts independent of acquired knowledge. Focus and diligence. This is the autistic person's ability to focus on tasks for a long period of time without needing supervision or incentive. Attention to detail, sometimes with painstaking perfection. So people on the spectrum are a varied group of people who are mostly bright, funny, articulate, caring, logical, honest, and persistent, and who just happen to think and behave a bit differently. So a quick question to the neurodiverse couples out there, and I'm referring to both the ASD spouse and the NT spouse, so I'm not picking sides here. And this may sound a little sarcastic, and I want to apologize up front if it does. But what if you went 24 hours, both of you, without any whining, complaining, moaning, groaning, guilt tripping, blaming, or feeling sorry for yourself. I know that's a mouthful, and I know that's a lot. And of the bunch, the not feeling sorry for yourself will be the most difficult thing to not do. In fact, in the unlikely event you want to do this 24-hour experiment, it probably will pop in your head periodically, oh, I shouldn't be going through this. This is too hard. Why do I have to put up with this? And so when that happens, and you catch it, and you have the secondary thought of, oh, I'm not going to think like that for the next 24 hours. I caught it. I want to quickly remove that thought and replace it with something else. Then that's okay. So it's going to be impossible for you to just, break an old habit immediately and then stay out of that old habit for 24 hours. I'm not expecting that much. But honestly, I'm not trying to be funny or sarcastic. So here it is again. The question is, what if you, both of you, went 24 hours without any complaining, blaming, guilt tripping, or self-pity? It's not a rhetorical question. I really would like to know what you think would happen. Would it be, it's not going to matter? Or it might improve things a little bit, but not very significantly? Or, yeah, I'll do this little experiment and holy cow, we really had a good day. So maybe something to consider. And if you do try this little experiment, I would also be interested in knowing how it went. So a quick message to the neurotypical spouses out there in a neurodiverse marriage. We'll plug in the example of the NT wife married to a husband on the autism spectrum. He has a problem with cause and effect. In other words, he has a problem knowing if I do a particular thing, the outcome is going to be this. If I say a particular thing, the outcome is likely to be that. And I'm only talking about in the social and emotional realm of things when I'm talking about the ASD husband, not in the physical realm. He gets cause and effect just fine when we're talking facts, figures, numbers, graphs, engineering, computing, etc. So the cause and effect thing that I'm talking about now is exclusively in the area where there is some social and emotional nuances. He has a problem knowing if I say or do this particular thing, the outcome, we'll plug it into the example of the NT wife, the outcome is likely to be she will feel this particular way. And then if she feels this particular way, I will need to do such and such in order to make amends or ameliorate her suffering. So let me repeat this. He has his difficulty with cause and effect in the social and emotional realm of things. If I say or do this, the outcome is likely to be that. Another way of putting it is problem with prediction. If I have ASD level 1, I'm going to have a problem predicting social outcomes. Here it is again, the formula. If I say or I'm forecasting the future now. I'm thinking ahead of time before I say or do the thing in question. If I say or do this particular thing, my NT wife in this case is likely to feel this particular way. And if she feels this particular way, and I want to make amends or do something to alleviate that uncomfortable emotion, I will need to do this. So here's the formula. If I do X, she's likely to feel Y. If she feels Y, I will need to do Z. I hope those variables made sense. We kind of made math out of it. So if you're running into the situation where he's not getting it, in other words, you tell him, for example, well, that hurt my feelings, or I felt really disrespected when you did or said that, and it seems like he doesn't get it, that's exactly what happened. He didn't get it. It's not like he got it and now just doesn't give a shit. No, he didn't get it. So he didn't understand that this was connected to this, which was connected to this. I hope this makes sense. So in summary, in the ASD individual, with specifically respect to social and emotional nuances, it's hard to predict outcomes. If I do this, the outcome is likely to be that.